Hello, everyone. I'm Robin Hattersley from Campus Safety Magazine. Welcome to the show. The COVID-19 infection rate has dropped dramatically in the US recently due, in great part, to mass vaccination. So students across the nation are coming back to face-to-face classes. Although this is great news for all of us, school officials are treading cautiously as they reopen because there is a strong chance our campuses could experience an increase in students acting out when they return. That's why it's so important for schools and school districts to reevaluate how they protect their students, teachers, staff members, and the surrounding community. One technology that improves campus security and safety is a mobile panic alert system. In my interview with Raptor CMO David Rogers, we discussed the value of mobile silent alarms, how schools can access American Rescue Plan funding from the federal government to improve campus safety, and ways K-12 campuses can address the social and emotional issues that could arise in students, family members, visitors, faculty, and staff members in the post-pandemic world. So here's my interview with David Rogers. Enjoy the show. For those who aren't familiar with Raptor, can you tell our audience about the company and what you offer?
Sure, Robin. So Raptor Technologies has been around since 2002, and we're the leading provider of school safety software in the industry. For the last 19 years, we've made it our mission to protect every school, every child, every day. And we do that with integrated visitor management, volunteer management, and emergency management software that helps schools to prevent, prepare, respond, and recover from any emergency. Today, roughly 35,000 schools across the US, that's about 1/3 of all the US public schools, utilize at least one of our products. We're probably best known for our visitor management solution, which helps schools to track and screen all the visitors coming into their school. We also have volunteer management, which has a similar process, but also helps you schedule and track volunteers. And then we have an emergency management suite that has several different components, including a drill manager, silent panic alert, as well as accountability, and then reunification for post-event reunification, which will bring together students and guardians after an emergency. So we really have a very complete safety solution for the K-12 market.
Now, over half of our K-12 respondents from our Campus Safety Emergency Notification Survey said they are in support of having a state or federal regulation requiring mobile silent panic alarms. Does this align with what you are hearing from your customers?
We are, Robin. We're starting to see a lot of states start to put these laws in place that are mandating a silent panic alarm. And so the respondents to your survey are probably reflecting that, but they also recognize that putting a panic alarm in the hands of their staff and their teachers that's connected directly to first responders is a good thing. That's going to allow first responders to get to the campus faster, and that's going to help save lives. And the law is commonly known as Alyssa's Law. It's named after Alyssa Alhadeff, which was a young lady who lost her life in the Parkland tragedy. And you've seen Florida, obviously, has passed Alyssa's Law, New Jersey. You're starting to see Texas, Nebraska, Arizona, New York legislatures start to take up these mandates, as well as at the federal level is starting to gain some traction. And really the whole concept is time equals life. You've heard Lori Alhadeff, who is Alyssa's mom, say this when she's testified on the law, that the faster you get those first responders on campus, the more lives you're going to save. And actually Raptor's in a unique position with this type of technology in that the panic alert is the first step. First of all, you're going to want to train on this stuff. You're going to want to drill on this technology. And we have a drill manager built into our solution, as well as we have the silent panic alert that works on multiple platforms. So it works on desktops and handheld phones and tablets and laptops. But we also have an accountability module built into it. So as these tragedies and emergencies are unfolding, you're able to keep track of all the kids, all the visitors and volunteers on campus. So you can, see where they are, account for them, what their status is. Are they okay? Are they injured? And then on the back end of this, we have reunification technology that allows you to expedite and automate the reunification process. So you want to reunite parents and guardians as fast as you can. When these things happen, Parents want to rush to the campus. They want to get with their kids, and you want a technology that allows you to do that quickly. And so really Raptor is in a unique position in that we've got a full suite of emergency management that addresses each one of these needs, not just the mobile panic alarm.
Now, with kids coming back to school this fall, and many have been doing remote learning all through the pandemic, there are a lot of concerns about more social and emotional issues. So,
Yeah,
does Raptor Alert provide a way for teachers and staff to summon help for a potential uptick in incidents on the local level?
this is really a challenging issue. The consequences of social isolation and school disruption on kids has been devastating. And you're seeing this being played out in the media right now. There's so much trepidation about kids coming back into school and just the emotional issues, the mental health issues that they're bringing with them, the impact that the pandemic has had in terms of depression and anxiety. We've seen suicide hotlines increasing volume 65%, most of it being teens. There's a lot of issues that'll be coming back into school with these kids. And so justifiably administrators, teachers are looking to put things in place that are going to help them with this. Now, fortunately, the federal government has put together several different funding relief packages that have guardrails around it that are focused on mental health of students. And a big part of that is going to be obviously the counseling and things that kids are going to need. But you really need to be wrapping safety around that as well. And that's actually, I talked about the Raptor Alert, and you mentioned Raptor Alert, Robin, but one of the neat features that we have there is something called Team Assist. And Team Assist, we originally put it in there for sort of those everyday emergencies. So when you have fights in the hallway or an irate parent, but it's completely programmable. And one of the things that we're working with schools to do is utilize that technology to be able to customize it for some of these things that they might be seeing as kids come back into the classroom. So whether it be identifying a case of COVID, it could be a child having emotional issues. It could be a fight in the hallway, but maybe in this case, be given the state of the mental state of some of the kids coming in, maybe you don't want to call the SRO like you used to do. Maybe you want to be calling in the counselor. So it allows the school and the district to completely customize their response to these incidents and subsequently be able to track it. So if there's been an increase in suicide threats, if there's been an increase in fights, if you've had more kids coming back with COVID and you're doing contact tracing on the back end at the school and district level, you'll be able to utilize our tool to be able to trace all of that. And so it does allow you to wrap this sort of envelope of security around some of the processes that you're going to have in place on top of all the additional counselors and things that you're going to have to help kids deal with some of the challenges of coming back after being isolated at home for so long.
So, David, you mentioned some federal funding that's available. Actually, quite a bit of federal funding that's available in the previous answer. I assuming you're talking about the American Rescue Plan ARP ESSER relief funds to purchase or be reimbursed for Raptor products. First of all, what does ESSER stand for? And I assume they're available for Raptor products, right?
Yeah, yes. The Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Fund, or ESSER, represents about $190 billion of federal funding that's going to be flowing down into schools. We've actually seen 3 different ESSER packages. The first 2 were passed by the Trump administration. The second largest one, which represents $120 billion in funding, coming into the states and subsequently into the schools. It was passed by the Biden administration, and where the previous 2 didn't have many guardrails around it, the states were actually able to use some of that money to plug in budget gaps within their school systems. The third one, ARP ESSER, as it's known, actually has several guardrails that make sure that schools are spending the money on COVID related items. So things like screening and contact tracing, because COVID is still going to be a problem going into the 2021-22 school year as they reopen. things like learning loss, all the kids that had, this huge disruption to their education. There are a lot of kids not at grade level. So there's going to be efforts around that need to be funded, as well as the whole concept that we just discussed around some of the mental health issues of kids and emotional health issues of kids coming back into the classroom. So Raptor is actually uniquely positioned underneath ARP ESSER to actually meet a lot of the requirements, particularly around the three I just mentioned. So we have a COVID-19 screening tool that sends out a survey daily to staff and to students, ask them all the key questions. If they answer yes, not allowed back into the school. Also allows for contact tracing. So that's a fairly obvious one that will be eligible for these funds. But we also have our volunteer management solution, and how you apply that is, and we've already seen this. This Dallas, Texas recently put out a call for like over 2,000 volunteers to help tutor. We have a client in Florida who's expecting 4,000 to 5,000 volunteers in their district, and they're all coming in to help with this learning loss issue. They want a tutor. You've got nonprofits, you've got parent volunteers, you've got former teachers. We're putting out the call to help these kids get back up to grade level. Well, you're going to want to background check these folks. Most states require anybody coming in that's going to work with children to have some level of a background check. You're going to want to have them sign up. You're going to want to know where they are in your school. You want to check them in, check them out, because you want to capture their hours. Our volunteer management tool allows you to do that. And so that's eligible also under the ARP ESSER funding. The third one, which I kind of discussed earlier, is the whole concept of utilizing our team assist within our Raptor Alert tool to be able to help wrap safety around the mental health and emotional issues. Yeah, you're going to want to be able to respond correctly to some of these issues, where I think I used the example earlier where you might have responded with the SRO before. That might escalate a problem where you maybe the protocol now would be to respond with the counselor. So having a tool that allows you to track all these different things, allows you to customize to your needs and be able to help you properly respond when there are issues resulting from some of these mental health and emotional problems will also be very powerful. And so that's also an allowable expense under ARP ESSER. So we're really working with a lot of schools right now to help them with their grant language, with their plan language, most of them having to file plans, and so that they can be reimbursed for these tools.
Great information. Thank you, David, so much. Is there anything you want to add before we close?
Robin, it's really been a challenging last 18 months. The pandemic has completely turned education up on top of its head. And as we look to reopen in the fall, and I think most schools are looking to do that, we have to realize that it's not business as normal. What you used to do and to go back to school is probably really changed. And some of the processes have gone out the window. You've got new ones in there. And a lot of your safety and security concerns have been amplified because of the pandemic. So Raptor's really there to be a partner. For our customers, you have an opportunity to be retrained on software applications that you've not been using for a year, but also the capabilities that are already there or that you can add on to help you deal with some of these issues like we talked about in the interview today. So I think as we look to the future, as we look to try to get education back on its feet, we're thankful all the funding is going to be there. We're thankful for the opportunities that we are going to have to be able to get back into the classroom. But I think we still have to, remember, we have to keep safety first. We have to make sure that we wrap all of these new things that we're doing in this layer of safety and security, and Raptor's there to help you do it. So thanks for your time today.